Time for our end-of-year check-in with High Elves versus Cathay, featuring Ryder Rohan's build that, in his own words, just works. So while he channels his inner Todd Howard, we're going to take a look at the build, of course, led by Techless upon his silly pigeon up in the air. He's got, let's see here, Flock of Doom, Regrowth, and Net of Amontok, along with Sword of Techless and Potion of Troy, of course. The rest of the build is 2 Sword Masters, 3 Bolt Throwers. We've got a mess of Illyrian Reaver Archers on the side here, 3 of them, a couple of Silver Helms, and some Ithilmar Chariots. As for Cathay, already getting hit by a beautiful Flock of Doom, hitting both of these Crane Guns, hitting this Grand Cannon, hitting these Peasant Long Spears in the back line. Also got plenty of Jade Warrior Halberds and Jade Warriors up front. Yuan is leading the way. He's going to be looking to assassinate Techless here, no doubt. And let's get things rolling. Techless going to eat this as he gets netted himself by Yuan Bo and just gets absolutely blasted by the Crane Guns. In the meantime, though, the Bolt Throwers are returning fire and doing very effective damage to Cathay's ranged troops. As Yuan hits his transform there to pursue Techless. Oh yeah, the Righteous Lances of Wei Jin. Longma Riders also swinging in here to pressure Techless, and he is going to be forced to retreat. But these Bolt Throwers, I don't think they have any XP chevrons, but very effective in counter-artillery sniping. That's honestly probably their best use case. Bolt Throwers are extremely effective because their accuracy and good fire rates at killing enemy artillery. You can see already 2 of the cannons down. A lot of models being killed already for the Crane Guns as well. And some of you might think you should put it on Scatter Shot for the Crane Guns, but in fact, single shot is going to be much better due to the low model count of weapons team type units. The high damage of the Bolt Thrower shots can just one-shot their unit models, and it is important for a lower model count unit like that to get their unit models off the field as quickly as possible. Especially ranged units, you can lessen their DPS very significantly by killing their unit models. So, yeah, let's see here. Screen Gun unit's taking a lot of damage. HP damage from Flock of Doom. But now the Bolt Thrower is going to be pressuring their shots directly into the Crane Guns as they kind of split into these different targets here. That said, Techless is taking a good amount of damage. The Reaver Archers also taking some damage here as they return fire on the Righteous Lances. So, Cathay player with their artillery out of commission is going to be forced to come out of their little corner hidey hole. They were using this little crevice here, this chaos pit, if you will, for kind of covering the advance. A little bit would have forced Ryder Rohan to go around, but instead he wins the artillery duel, forces this defensive Cathay build out of position and into a much more uncomfortable situation, perhaps. Let's see. Bolt Throwers at this point are just feasting on whatever they can get in range in terms of high-value targets. Crane Guns, pretty much done at this point. Silver Helms being used well to chase these routing units off, going to make sure they don't come back from route. But then Eagle Claws can switch targets onto, like, the Righteous Lances would be a great target. Yuan himself, obviously, especially if he hits a transform, would be a great target. But right now, he's on foot. Once again, duking it out here with Techless. And despite the Silver Helm supporting, this is going to be a really bad engagement for Techless, even with Yuan on foot. But he definitely wants to try and get some support here. Swordmasters moving in now, unopposed by any ranged units, having dealt with the Crane Guns already, of course. These Swordmasters are going to get in here and just deal devastating damage to the Cathayan infantry. Another beautiful Flock of Doom as well, and Techless himself is feasting on some value, but his time is going to be cut pretty short here by Yuan if he doesn't get out of this situation. So definitely a dangerous place for Techless to be in, especially Gotrek's even here as well. Didn't highlight him earlier, but he's providing a little bit of extra anti-large damage. Yeah, a little bit interesting. I'm not sure about taking Gotrek that much as Cathay. I don't know. But yeah, the icon appears over Techless. He gets executed by Yuan there. So Lord Down's a problem, but the rest of the Cathayans pretty much are routing besides the heroes. Reaver Archers moved in with that big leadership break there, along with the Silver Helms, and are wrapping a lot of these units up. I mean, Yuan's pretty much the only thing holding this build stable at this point. Even the Righteous Lance is getting chased off there by Reaver Archers. as they shoot up into the skies. So, yeah, the cavalry ends up helping significantly. So my cat scrambles around in the background. I apologize about the noise, guys. Um, yeah, cavalry helping to just mop up these routing units, get some timely rear charges. Even again, the Reaver archers don't do a lot of damage in melee, but still that leadership damage is enough to help rout some of these units off and actually shatter some units outright. So looking very good there. And then Yuan himself, of course, with triple bolt throwers focusing on him, probably should actually transform back into infantry form and just try and grind with Gotrek the entire time. But given that Yuan Bo lacks healing, you know, he's more of a damage-focused lord. He's not going to be able to self-heal in any meaningful way. Means his ability to kind of sustain and tank out a big fight like this is significantly hindered. If he did have some capacity to heal himself, he might be able to tank out a lot of this. But I don't know. It's kind of a pun intended, double-edged sword here, because if he transforms into infantry form, the Swordmasters are probably going to massacre him in this round because they have very good stats, and certainly have enough melee stats to compete with heroes, no problem, especially with that plus 14 bonus versus infantry, putting them up to 70 melee attack. Of course, if he stays in large form, he gets hit by the bolt throwers and just eventually routs regardless. So nice one from Rider of Rohan, who gets Techless horribly sniped, but still ends up winning the day pretty decisively, honestly. And yeah, Silverhelm's able to come in and get some great value, opening with the Bolt Throwers, and the Flocks of Doom also should not be discounted in the amount of HP damage they did to those Crane Gunners, softening them up so that the Bolt Throwers could see them off very quickly. The Reaver Archers also a nice auxiliary support unit. They're just probably one of the better skirmish cabs in the game right now for a number of different use cases, and especially against Cathay, where that high stats and their melee prowess definitely comes in handy, not to mention just in general skirmish cavalry helping to kind of pick Cathay apart, disrupt their formations. Very, very useful, absolutely. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. It's a relatively quick one today. Yeah, from Cathay's side, Yuan manages to get some really good value. The rest of the build just played a little bit too passively. Maybe should have reacted a little bit quicker, and like the problem with deploying so far back is that in an artillery duel like that we saw there, the crane guns were not able to actually support the grand cannons in returning fire onto the bolt throwers. Maybe if they had been able to do so, would have equalized things a little bit, but at that point then Rider Rohan can charge forward and try and utilize again some of his other units. Basically, as long as the bolt throwers are taking the shots, the Swordmasters are not. That's advantageous. It's an argument to be made that the crane gunners should just move forward and immediately use as much of their ammunition as they can, just shooting the Swordmasters only. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. It's definitely an interesting matchup and continues to evolve over time, although it certainly seems like Rider of Rohan's got his build fairly well locked in. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Hopefully enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.